You thief! You stole my life. The entire marketplace in Freetown went silent. Everyone turned to look. There stood Mohamed, the big bank manager that everyone respected, soaking wet with dirty gutter water dripping from his expensive suit. His face was covered in mud. But that wasn't the shocking part. The shocking part was Mariama, the quiet vegetable seller that everyone called foolish, standing over him with a bucket in her hand. She had just poured that dirty water on him, on purpose, in front of everybody.
You want to know the truth? You want to know why everything in your life is crashing down?
Mariama's voice was shaking, but it was loud. Her eyes were filled with tears, but also with fire. Mohamed tried to stand up, slipping in the mud.
Mariama, please. I came to apologize.
Apologize? Mariama laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. You stood at your wedding to another woman and called me a bush girl. You said I was holding you back from your destiny. She pulled out her phone. Her hand was shaking as she pressed play. Mohamed's own voice came out of the phone, clear as day. I'm glad I got rid of that market woman, Mariama. She was nothing but dead weight. Fatmata is the kind of woman a successful man like me deserves. The crowd gasped. Women covered their mouths. Men shook their heads. But Mariama wasn't done. You think that's all? You don't even know the real truth. You don't know who I really am. You don't know what your father did. And you definitely don't know why karma is eating you alive right now. 3 tall men pushed through the crowd. They looked angry. Very angry. That's him? The tallest one asked Mariama. That's the man who treated our sister like garbage. Mohamed's eyes went wide with fear. He tried to run, but his feet slipped in the mud again. Wait, he screamed. What truth? What are you talking about? What did my father do? But before Mariama could answer, the 3 brothers grabbed him. This story started 4 years earlier, when Mariama was just a simple girl selling vegetables at the Sani Abacha street market in Freetown. Mariama woke up every morning at 4 a.m. While other young women her age were still sleeping, she was already at the market arranging her tomatoes, peppers, and onions. Her clothes were simple. Her shoes were worn out. But her smile was always bright. Mariama, the other market women would call out, "You're too beautiful to be selling vegetables. Go find a rich man to marry." Mariama would just laugh. I'm fine right here. I don't need a rich man. But deep inside, Mariama carried a heavy secret. A secret that made her heart hurt every single day. Her father, Mr. Kamara, had died when she was only 12 years old. Before he died, he told her a story that changed everything. Mariama, my daughter, he had said from his sick bed, I need to tell you something important. I had a business partner many years ago. His name was Mr. Sese. We started a transport company together here in Freetown. We were making good money. But Mr. Sese, he cheated me. Little Mariama had held her father's weak hand. What did he do, Papa? He took all the company documents and registered everything in only his name. He told the government that I was just his worker, not his partner. He took everything we built together. All my money. All my years of hard work. He left us with nothing. Tears had rolled down her father's face. I tried to fight him in court, but he had money for big lawyers. I had nothing. The stress killed me slowly, Mariama. Now I'm dying, and I'm leaving you and your mother poor. Young Mariama had cried. I hate him, Papa. I hate Mr. Sese. But her father had grabbed her hand tight. No, my daughter, don't carry hatred in your heart. Hatred is like poison. It will kill you from inside. Mr. Sese will answer to God for what he did. You must be different. You must be kind even when others are wicked. That's how you win in life. Those were some of the last words her father ever spoke. Now, 8 years later, Mariama was 20 years old and still selling vegetables to help her mother. They lived in a small wooden house with a rusty zinc roof that leaked when it rained. One Tuesday afternoon, a young man came to her vegetable stand. He was handsome, with a bright smile. He wore simple clothes, not expensive, but clean. "How much for these tomatoes?" he asked. 50 leones per pile, Mariama answered. The young man picked up a tomato and examined it like he was a doctor examining a patient. "These tomatoes are too small. I'll give you 30. Mariama laughed. "Ah, you want me to sell at a loss? These are fresh tomatoes from the village. 45, final price." They bargained back and forth, both of them smiling. Finally, the young man bought the tomatoes. But before he left, he said, "What's your name?" "Mariama." "I'm Mohamed. I work at the phone repair shop down the street. I'll come back tomorrow." And he did come back. The next day, and the day after that, and the day after that. Soon, Mohamed was coming to Mariama's stand every single day, even when he didn't need vegetables. They would talk and laugh. Mariama felt her heart getting warm whenever she saw him. After 2 months, Mohamed asked, "Mariama, can I take you to dinner?" Mariama's heart jumped, but she played it cool. "Okay, but somewhere not too expensive. I know you're just a phone repair boy." Mohamed laughed. "And you're just a vegetable girl. We match perfectly." When Mohamed took Mariama to meet his mother, everything changed. His mother, Mama Hawa, looked at Mariama from head to toe, with disgust in her eyes. "This is the girl you want to marry? A market woman?" "Mama, she's a good person," Mohamed said. "Good person." Mama Hawa snorted. "Look at her. She smells like tomatoes and onions. Her clothes are cheap. What will our family members say? What will our mosque members think?" Mohamed's 2 sisters, Aminata and Kadiatu, were even worse. They whispered loud enough for Mariama to hear. "Our brother can do so much better than this bush girl." Mariama felt tears stinging her eyes, but she didn't cry. She remembered her father's words. "Be kind, even when others are wicked." On their way home, Mohamed held Mariama's hand. "Don't mind them. I love you. That's what matters." But Mariama had a strange feeling in her stomach. A feeling that trouble was coming. One day, while Mariama was visiting Mohamed's house to help cook, she saw a photograph on the wall. It was an old photo of a man in a suit, smiling big. "Who is that?" Mariama asked. "That's my late father," Mohamed said proudly. "Mr. Sese? He was a successful businessman. He owned a big transport company. That's why my family has this nice house." Mariama felt like someone had poured ice water on her head. "Sese. Mr. Sese. The same Mr. Sese who destroyed her father. The same Mr. Sese who stole everything from her family. The same Mr. Sese who was the reason her father died poor and broken." Mariama's hand started shaking. The cup she was holding almost fell. "Are you okay?" Mohamed asked. I need to use the bathroom," Mariama said quickly. In the bathroom, Mariama looked at herself in the mirror. Her father's dying words came back to her. "Mr. Sese will answer to God for what he did. You must be kind even when others are wicked." Mariama made a decision right there. A decision that would change everything. She would marry Mohamed, but not for revenge. She would show his family what real love looked like. She would break the circle of hatred. She would prove that kindness was stronger than wickedness. Mariama and Mohamed got married in a small ceremony. His family didn't even attend properly. Mama Hawa came late and left early. The sisters didn't come at all. But Mariama didn't complain. she became the best wife anyone could ask for. Every morning, she woke up at 4 a.m. to prepare Mohamed's breakfast. She still went to sell vegetables, and she gave Mohamed money whenever he needed it for his phone repair business. When Mohamed was sick, Mariama stayed up all night, taking care of him. When his mother was sick, Mariama went to her house every day to cook and clean, even though Mama Hawa never said thank you. People in the market would shake their heads. Mariama, you're foolish. That man's family treats you like a servant. Why do you stay? Mariama would just smile. Love is not foolish. But inside, her heart was breaking into small pieces. After 3 years of marriage, something big happened. Mohamed got a job at Sierra Leone Commercial Bank as a manager. Suddenly, he was making good money. Real money. He bought new clothes, expensive shoes, a car. He started going to fancy restaurants. At first, Mariama was happy for him. You worked hard for this, she told him. But Mohamed was changing. The money was changing him. He stopped coming home early. He would go out with his new friends from the bank, lawyers, doctors, businessmen. He started saying things like, Mariama, maybe you should stop selling vegetables. It's embarrassing. What will my colleagues think if they know my wife sells tomatoes in the market? Mariama felt a pain in her chest. But Mohamed, I sold vegetables when you had nothing. I gave you money from this same vegetable business when... That was before. Mohamed snapped. I'm somebody important now. I need a wife who fits my new status. Mama Hawa made it worse. She would tell Mohamed, now that you're a big man, you need to upgrade everything. Your car, your house, your wife. One night, Mohamed didn't come home at all. Mariama called his phone 20 times. No answer. The next morning, he came back wearing the same clothes from yesterday. He smelled like perfume. Women's perfume. Where were you? Mariama asked quietly. Out with friends, Mohamed said, not looking at her. Which friends? Stop interrogating me. You're not my mother. This became the new pattern. Mohamed would disappear for days. When he came home, he would find small things to complain about. This rice is too dry. Why is the house not clean enough? Can't you dress better? Mariama tried everything to make him happy again. But nothing worked. Then one Saturday, Mohamed's sister Aminata came to visit. She was smiling too much. A fake smile. Mariama, Aminata said sweetly. I need to tell you something as your sister-in-law. Mohamed has been seeing someone. A lawyer named Fatmata. She's beautiful, educated, and rich. She's perfect for him. The words hit Mariama like stones. You're lying, Mariama whispered. Am I? Aminata pulled out her phone and showed Mariama photos. Photos of Mohamed and a beautiful woman in expensive clothes, holding hands at a restaurant, kissing at Lumley Beach. Mariama felt like she couldn't breathe. That night, when Mohamed came home, Mariama confronted him. Who is Fatmata? Mohamed's face went cold. So you know. How could you? How could I? Mohamed laughed. I mean laugh. Mariama, be honest with yourself. We don't match anymore. I'm a bank manager. You're a market woman. I need someone on my level. I loved you when you had nothing. And I appreciate that. But love is not enough. I'm leaving you. I'm marrying Fatmata. Just like that. No apology. No shame. Mohamed packed his bags and walked out. Mariama fell on the floor and cried until she had no more tears left. The next morning, Mariama's phone rang. It was her mother. Mariama, come home quickly. Your grandmother is very sick. She wants to see you before she dies. She says she has something important to tell you. Something about your father. Something about the Sese family. A secret that will change everything. Mariama's heart started beating fast. A secret? What secret could be so important that her grandmother was waiting to die before sharing it? Mariama ran to her grandmother's house, like her life depended on it. Her heart was beating so fast, she thought it would jump out of her chest. When she got there, her mother was sitting by the bed, crying softly. Her grandmother looked so small and weak under the thin blanket. But when she saw Mariama, her eyes became sharp and bright. "Everybody out," grandmother said in a weak but firm voice. "I need to talk to Mariama alone." Mariama's mother left the room. Mariama sat down and held her grandmother's hand. It felt like holding dry sticks. "Grandmother, what do you want to tell me?" The old woman's eyes filled with tears. "Mariama, I'm dying. Before I go, I need to tell you the full truth about your father and the Sese family. The truth your father didn't tell you because he was too kind." Mariama leaned closer. "Your father told you that Mr. Sese cheated him out of the business, right?" "Yes, grandmother. But he didn't tell you everything. He didn't tell you that Mr. Sese did something even worse." The old woman's voice became hard. "Mr. Sese didn't just steal the business documents. He went to the police and told them that your father was the one stealing money from the company. He lied. He planted fake evidence." Mariama's mouth fell open. "Your father was arrested. He spent 6 months in Pademba Road prison for a crime he didn't commit. 6 months. When he came out, he was a broken man. Nobody would give him a job because they thought he was a thief. That's what really killed him, Mariama. Not just the loss of the business, the shame, the lies, the betrayal." Tears were flowing down Mariama's face now. "But grandmother, I married Mohamed. I married Mr. Sese's son. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was breaking the cycle of hatred by showing them love." Her grandmother grabbed her hand tighter than Mariama thought possible for such a sick woman. "And you did, my child. You showed them what real love looks like. You showed them kindness they never deserved. But now..." The grandmother's eyes became fierce. "Now it's time for the truth to come out. It's time for them to face what their father did. It's time for justice." "What do you mean?" "Before your father died, he wrote everything down. Every detail of what Mr. Sese did. Every lie. Every piece of stolen money. Every fake document. He gave it all to me and made me promise to keep it safe. He said, 'One day, the truth will be needed. Keep it until that day comes.'" The grandmother pointed to an old metal box under the bed. "Everything is in there. Bank statements, witness testimonies, recording of Mr. Sese admitting what he did to a friend. Everything." Mariama pulled out the box. Her hands were shaking. "Grandmother, what should I do with this?" The old woman smiled. A small, tired smile. "You are a kind person, Mariama, like your father. But kindness doesn't mean letting wicked people walk all over you. Sometimes, love means standing up for what's right. Sometimes, love means letting the truth shine so bright that lies cannot hide anymore." 3 days ago, grandmother continued, "I heard what Mohamed did to you. How he left you for that rich woman. How his family treated you like trash after everything you did for them. I got so angry. I prayed. I prayed like I've never prayed before." "What did you pray, grandmother?" "I said, 'God, this family built their wealth on stolen money and lies. They destroyed a good man, and now they're destroying his daughter. Let everything they built on wickedness crumble. Let them lose everything until they learn that money built on other people's pain cannot last." Mariama felt a chill run down her spine. "Grandmother, is that why Mohamed lost his job? Is that why his new wife left him? Is that why everything is falling apart for him? The old woman closed her eyes. God answers prayers in his own way. All I know is that the wicked may prosper for a season, but their season always ends. Always. That night, Mariama's grandmother died peacefully in her sleep. At the funeral 3 days later, Mariama stood by the grave crying. But she wasn't just crying for her grandmother. She was crying for her father. She was crying for all the years of pain and secrets and lies. After the funeral, Mariama went home and opened the metal box. Inside were papers and documents that proved everything. Bank statements showing how Mr. Sese transferred company money into his personal account. Letters from witnesses who saw what happened. And most shocking of all, a tape recording. Mariama played the tape. It was old and scratchy, but she could hear Mr. Sese's voice clearly. Of course I set him up. Kamara was too soft. Too honest. He would have never agreed to the kind of business deals I wanted to make. So I got rid of him. I planted some missing money evidence, paid off a few people, and boom, he went to Pademba Road. By the time he came out, the company was all mine. Best business move I ever made. The other voice on the tape laughed. You're a smart man, Sese. Ruthless, but smart. Mariama felt sick to her stomach. For 2 weeks, Mariama thought about what to do. She could take the evidence to the police. But Mr. Sese was already dead. They couldn't arrest a dead man. She could take it to a lawyer and sue the family for her father's share of the company. But that would take years. And lawyers cost money she didn't have. Then one day, her 3 brothers came to visit her. They had heard about Mohamed leaving her. Sister, said Ibrahim, the oldest. We heard what that useless man did to you. Just say the word. We will deal with him. No violence, Mariama said quickly. That's not who we are. Then what? Asked Sorry, the middle brother. You're just going to let him disrespect you? Disrespect our whole family? Mariama looked at her brothers. An idea was forming in her mind. I have a plan, she said slowly. But I need your help. Meanwhile, Mohamed's life was falling apart faster than a house made of cards. After the bank fired him for the missing money that mysteriously appeared back in the accounts after he was fired, he couldn't find another job. His fancy car got stolen. His new wife Fatmata divorced him after just 4 months when she realized he was broke. He had to move back into his mother's house. But even there, things were bad. Mama Hawa was sick with high blood pressure and diabetes. His sisters, Aminata and Kadiatu, refused to help take care of her. We have our own families to worry about, they said. Mohamed found himself doing everything. Cooking, cleaning, buying medicine. The same things Mariama used to do without complaining. One day, an old family friend came to visit Mama Hawa. His name was Uncle Lansana, and he was very sick with cancer. While Mohamed was serving them tea, Uncle Lansana said something that made Mohamed freeze. Awa, your late husband, he came to see me before he died. He wanted to confess something that was bothering his soul. Mama Hawa sat up straighter. Confess what? He told me about his business partner, a man named Kamara. He told me what he did to him. The lies, the prison, everything. Mohamed's cup fell from his hand and shattered on the floor. What are you talking about? Mama Hawa's voice was shaking. Uncle Ansana looked sad. Your husband built this family's wealth on another man's pain. He destroyed Kamara. And now, I think that man's daughter came into your life for a reason. What daughter? Mohamed whispered, but deep down, he already knew. Mariama. Her father was Kamara. The room started spinning. Mohamed felt like he couldn't breathe. No, he said. No, that's impossible. Mariama never. She never said. Maybe she didn't know at first, Uncle Ansana said. Or maybe she knew and chose to love you anyway. Chose to break the cycle of hatred. But either way, you threw away something precious. You threw away a woman who loved you despite what your father did to hers. Mama Hawa started crying. Real tears, not the fake tears she used to get her way. What have we done? She whispered. We treated her like trash. We called her names. We pushed Mohamed to leave her. And all along, she was the daughter of the man my husband destroyed. Mohamed ran out of the house. He had to find Mariama. He had to apologize. He had to make things right. Mohamed went to Sani Abacha street market. He was wearing his old clothes now. The fancy ones were all gone. He looked everywhere for Mariama's vegetable stand. When he found her, she was arranging tomatoes, just like the first day he met her. But she looked different, stronger. Her eyes weren't sad anymore. Mariama, Mohamed said, falling on his knees right there in the market. Please, I need to talk to you. People started gathering around. This was going to be good gossip. Stand up, Mohamed, Mariama said calmly. You're embarrassing yourself. I don't care. Mariama, I know the truth now. I know who your father was. I know what my father did. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Mariama looked at him with no expression on her face. You're sorry now because you found out the truth. But you weren't sorry when you left me for Fatmata. You weren't sorry when you called me a bush girl. I was stupid. I was blind. The money changed me. Please, give me another chance. That's when Mariama picked up the bucket of dirty gutter water that she used to water her vegetables. You want to know something, Mohamed? When I first found out who you were, I was angry. I wanted revenge. But then, I remembered what my father taught me, to be kind even when others are wicked. So, I loved you with everything I had. I gave you my whole heart. She lifted the bucket higher. But you know what I learned? There's a difference between kindness and foolishness. Kindness is loving people who deserve it. Foolishness is letting people treat you like garbage and calling it love. And then, she poured the dirty water all over him. The crowd gasped. Mohamed stood there, dripping wet, shocked. You want forgiveness? Mariama continued. You want me to take you back? Let me show you something first. She pulled out her phone and played the recording. Mohamed's voice from his wedding to Fatmata filled the air. I'm glad I got rid of that market woman, Mariama. She was nothing but dead weight. Women in the crowd started shouting. Shame on you. Wicked man, after all she did for you. But Mariama still wasn't done. She pulled out a second phone and played a different recording. This one was older, scratchier. But everyone could hear Mr. Sesse's voice clearly. Of course I set him up. Camera was too soft. The whole market went silent. Your father, Mariama said, her voice breaking now. Destroyed my father. Sent him to prison for crimes he didn't commit. Killed him slowly with lies and shame. And I still loved you. I still gave you everything. Because I wanted to prove that love was stronger than hate. Tears were running down her face, but her voice was strong. But you taught me something, Mohamed. You taught me that some people don't deserve love. Some people will take your kindness and use it to wipe their feet. Well, I'm done being a doormat. That's when Ibrahim, sorry, and Abdul pushed through the crowd. That's him? Ibrahim asked. That's the man who treated our sister like garbage? Mohamed tried to run, but he slipped in the muddy water. Wait, please, he screamed. The brothers didn't beat him badly. They didn't have to. They simply picked him up and threw him into the big gutter drain by the side of the market. The one filled with muddy water, rotten vegetables, and trash. Mohamed landed with a big splash. The whole market erupted in laughter and cheers. "That's what you get," someone shouted. "Karma is real," another person yelled. Mariama stood at the edge of the gutter, looking down at Mohamed, covered in filth. "You treated me like dirt when you had money," she said loud enough for everyone to hear. "Now you're actually in the dirt where you belong. Maybe now you'll learn that a person's worth is not in their bank account. It's in their character." Mohamed had to walk home through the streets of Freetown, covered in garbage and shame. Children followed him, laughing. Adults shook their heads. His pride was completely destroyed. His reputation was ruined. Everyone in Freetown heard what happened. But something else happened too. That night, a lawyer who was in the market crowd came to visit Mariama. "Miss Mariama," he said, "I heard everything today. I heard the recording of Mr. Sese. I want to help you. I'll take your case for free. We can sue the Sese family and get back everything they stole from your father." Mariama thought about it for a long time. Then she said, "No. Keep the evidence safe for me. But I don't want their money. Money built on lies will never bring happiness. I just wanted the truth to come out, and it has." The lawyer was surprised. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure. My father didn't want me to carry hatred. He wanted me to live free. And that's what I'm going to do." 6 months later, Mariama was still selling vegetables at the market. But now she had expanded. She had 3 stands and was employing other young women. One day, a man came to buy vegetables. His name was Abu, and he owned a small transport business. He was kind, respectful, and he loved how hard Mariama worked. They started talking, then dating. 6 months after that, they got married. Abu treated Mariama like a queen. He respected her hustle. He loved her strength. He valued her kind heart. "You're the strongest woman I've ever met," he would tell her. "You turned pain into power." Meanwhile, Mohamed never recovered. He got a small job as a clerk in a tiny office. He lived in one room, alone. Every time he saw couples being kind to each other on the street, he remembered what he had lost. Mama Hawa's sickness got worse. In the end, it was a young woman from the mosque, not her own children, who took care of her until she died. On her deathbed, Mama Hawa called for Mohamed. "I was wrong," she whispered. "I taught you to value money over character. I taught you to look down on people who were struggling. And now look at us. We lost everything. We lost the only person who really loved us." Those were her last words. 2 years later, Mariama was at the market with her husband Abu. They were laughing about something when she saw Mohamed across the street. He looked older, tired, broken. Their eyes met for just a second. Mohamed started to walk over, but Abu put his arm around Mariama protectively. Mohamed stopped. He understood. That chapter was closed. As he walked away, Mariama felt something inside her. Not happiness at his suffering. Not even pity. Just peace. She had learned the most important lesson. Real love means knowing your worth. Real love means walking away from people who don't value you. Real love means choosing yourself when others choose to hurt you. The market women who used to call her foolish now called her wise. "That's Mariama," they would say. "She knew when to love and when to let go. That's not foolishness, that's wisdom." And Mariama would smile, hold her husband's hand, and count her blessings. Because in the end, the truth had come out. And the truth had set her free. Kindness is important, but knowing your worth is more important. Don't let people mistake your good heart for weakness. And remember, what goes around always comes back around.